Sir, I am CA Bhagwan Das Mundara, Chairman of Warangal branch of SIRC of ICAI. On behalf of the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICAI welcome all the participants in today's webcast on adaptability and flexibility in changing landscape. I also welcome to CA Dr. Anuj Goyal, Sir, Chairman Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICAI, Sri Priya Kumar, Vice Chairperson, Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICI. Today's resource person, CA Preeti Mehrotra, and the event enablers from the Warangal branch of SIRC of ICI and other present over here. Now I introduce CA Sri Priya Kumar, Vice Chairperson. Madam, there. Madam is there. Sir.
Madam not here, you can skip.
Okay, ma'am. Now I am welcoming the chairman of the PSS committee, ICI, Dr. CA Anuj Goyal, sir, on this platform.
Thank you.
Now I introduce CA Dr. Anuj Goyal, sir, the chairman of PSES ICI. Goyal, sir, is the Central Council member for 2022 and 25 of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, qualified FCA, FCS, FCMA, MCOM, LLB, PhD, DISA, DIRM. Besides that, he is 6 times Central Council member of ICAI since 2004. Chairman, Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICAI. Chairman, Ethical Standard Boards of ICAI. Convener, Publications and CDS Directorate, ICAI. Vice Chairman, Sustainability Reporting Standard Boards. Vice Chairman, Taxation Audits, Quality Review Board, and members of various non-standing committee of ICAI. He is a dynamic Central Council member who always with the prime objective of to serve the members of the ICAI at large and always stands with and for the members of the ICAI. He had earlier served as chairman of the CIRC of ICAI and in other positions of CIRC of ICAI and chairman in the Ghaziabad branch of CIRC of ICAI before joining to the ICAI Council. Now I welcome CA Goyal sir and forward your few words, sir.
Thank you very much, CA Bhagwan Das, sir, our honorable event enabler and honorable chairperson of very, very prominent branch of southern region, Warangal branch. And we are having our very, very prominent personality with us, very, very prominent professional, CA Preeti Mehrotra ma'am, who was earlier in Delhi NCR and now he is in the financial capital of the country, Mumbai. And he is going to teach us, I will say, about the adaptability and flexibility in a changing landscape. We are having Dr. Sambit Kumar Mishra ji, our Honorable Secretary of the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee. And friends, the way Dr. Sambit Mishra ji is putting his best to see that how we can really do something very, very concrete for the best of the chartered accountants of the world, the members of the ICAI, I think something really great for the first time in the history of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. This Professional Skills Enrichment Committee has come into existence with a vision and mission that we have to see that how we can further enrich the skills of the best of the accounting professionals, not only of the country, but of the world, the members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. I welcome all our honorable delegates. I think in thousands of delegates are with us, more than 2,000 delegates are with us from India and outside India also. I welcome all of you with folded hands on behalf of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and as chairman of the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee. And today we are going to take very important topic. You are very well aware that on 15th of July we are celebrating International Youth Skill Day, and on the eve of International Youth Skill Day, this series of webinar, week-long webinar, every day we are having the webinar, has been organized, and on this International Youth Skill Day, we will be organizing more than 100 physical programs on 15th of July, and on 26th of June. On International MSME Day, we organized more than 100 physical programs. So this is the capacity, this is the dedication and devotion of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and of the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee and our Secretary, Dr. Sambit Kumar Misraji, who is working day in, day out to see that how we can really do something very concrete for the best of the accounting professionals of the world. And friends, in today's rapidly evolving workplace landscape, adaptability and flexibility have emerged as indispensable skills for professionals seeking to navigate the complexity of modern work environments successfully. The ability to embrace change, stay open to new ideas, and adapt to shifting priorities is not just advantageous, it is essential for staying competitive, resilient, and thriving in your career. So I'm quite confident that chartered accountants who are known for the flexibility, but how we can further enrich that skill, I think that is very important. And friends, being flexible and adaptable both require the ability to change plans, priorities, and ideas to suit changing circumstances. This requires understanding the balance between task urgency and importance. Adaptability often implies anticipating and planning ahead to allow for contingencies, while flexibility can be more immediate and situational, often with a need to accommodate others. Adaptability is not just a desirable trait, it is a critical skill that is indispensable for thriving in today's fast changing work environment. By embracing change, staying open to new ideas, and cultivating a growth mindset, individuals can position themselves for success and unlock their full potential in their careers. So I'm quite confident that we are having the best of the resource person, Preeti Mehrotra ji, who is a very prominent faculty, who is taking the classes at the best of the management institutes and is producing best of the management professionals also. And with her rich experience, I think this Professional Skill Management Committee and the members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India are really fortunate that she is here to ensure that how our chartered accountants can have the adaptability and flexibility in changing landscape. With this, I will not be taking a further time as we are very eagerly waiting to hear our honorable resource person, CA Preeti Mehrotra ji. I once again welcome Preeti ji, Bhagwan ji. Bhagwan को कैसे welcome करें, I don't know, but in spite of that, I am welcoming him and all the honorable delegates from each and every part of the country who are live with us, and Dr. Sambit Kumar Misraji, our honorable secretary. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable words. We'll appreciate for your wordings and encouragement for us all to have the knowledge of the adaptability and flexibility. And now the object of our this webinar is to pace of the change is so fast that the easy to feel like you are falling behind. There is a need to keep up, and that's very flexibility comes into play. In the era defined by the rapid technological advancement and unforeseen disruptions, the ability to adapt and stay flexible is a crucial component of successful transformation. Entities that embrace change and build resilience in their strategies and are better equipped navigate to the ever evolving landscape. These all we learn from the eminent speaker C.A. Preeti Mehrotraji. Now I introduce our speaker C.A. Preeti Mehrotraji. She is a chartered accountant, PGDM, finance and a Delhi University graduate. She have an experience spanning over a decade in financial and soft skill trainings. The name of a few, she is visiting faculty at a Bank of Baroda, Reserve Bank of India, Bob Cards Limited, SIFL, Institute, Mumbai, Antwerp Educates, etc. She is also the empaneled faculty of soft skills at ICI and ICSI for MCS. Her core topics include professional ethics, due diligence, anti-money laundering, credit analysis, and others. She had also been the faculty and speaker in various webinars and trained the trainer program of ICI. With this brief introduction, I welcome CA Siti Mehrotraji to take over to the session. Thank you, madam. Welcome you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful introduction. And I welcome all the participants and wish you a very pleasant morning to all of you. So, moving ahead, the topic for today's discussion is adaptability and flexibility. So, my screen is visible to all? Absolutely fine? Yes. So now, moving ahead, adaptability and flexibility. So what is the purpose behind it? Whenever we are taking any session or we are learning something, the why behind it should be very, very clear that what is the purpose that we have kept this topic for today, adaptability and flexibility, because in this cutthroat competitive era, it is very, very important that one has to be adaptable and flexible to the changing market conditions. So I'm going to give you various case studies. I'm going to share various examples. So as you understand the core reason behind it, that until and unless, we are adaptable, we are flexible, we are missing out many opportunities that could give us a very good thriving career and opportunities. So to start with adaptability. Adaptability means that you are willing to learn new things and take on new challenges. Now, let me give you a very, very basic example that all of us have witnessed in our life, right? So, let me share the case study of the downfall of Nokia. So, when I use this brand name Nokia, I'm sure, we are taken back in the time of late 99 and early 2000, Nokia brand was the dominant one in the market. I hope everybody agrees with me. But what led to the downfall of it? The reason was that it failed to adapt itself to the changing market conditions. It failed to adapt itself to the new market conditions, to use new technology. And what was the reason? What was the result? We all have seen that. So it is quite evident that until and unless we are adaptive of the changing technologies, changing market conditions, changing scenarios, it is very, very difficult to survive in the market. Another example, if I share with you, Kodak camera, right? These are very, very basic examples to set the ground for which, we are discussing here. So we all have heard this brand Kodak camera, right? We all have used this Kodak camera in our childhood. So it was also not able to survive the market because it could not forecast that the era of smartphones are coming and this physical camera's need would be replaced by the smartphone. And what was the result? We all have seen. So by giving you these two basic examples, we have figured out that to be adaptable to the changing environment is so very crucial. Now, moving ahead, when we talk about flexibility, what is flexibility? Flexibility allows one to evaluate what is happening and adjust to the roles and responsibility of even the job being offered. So basically, flexibility is how well you are able to adjust yourself to the changing environment, right? Which is very, very important for the employer as well as the employee to be flexible, as it creates a streamlined workforce and technology adopted due to the changes in the market conditions. Now, there are various other factors when we talk about the word flexible at work and the importance of flexibility. So basically, if we talk about the difference between adaptability and flexibility, adaptability is your willingness to learn new things and taking on new challenges that you have not taken earlier. Whereas flexibility means how well you are adjusting yourself to the changing circumstances. Because if you are working and you have not adjusted yourself fully to the changing environment, you will not get the prompt results. So adaptability and flexibility, they go hand in hand. Now, when we talk about characteristics of adaptiveness and flexibility, so what are the various points that come into that? So I'm just going to read out the characteristics and then we are going to discuss these characteristics in detail. So while I'm just reading, I'm just giving you a trail of these characteristics. Just try to introspect yourself that how many characteristics actually we have in ourselves. All right. So if we rate ourselves on the parameter of scale 10, that how much adaptive and flexible we are, these points are going to help us to evaluate ourselves and to guide us that where we want to work, right? Where we want to improvise ourselves in future. Now, the very first one is open to trends, not rigid in thoughts, adjusting to situations, effective problem solving, able to negotiate, work under pressure, ability to listen, ability to communicate, acknowledging others' view, allow expanding, able to learn, more productive, shows confidence. So this is just the agenda when we talk about that a professional is adaptive and flexible. So what all characteristics are expected in that individual, we have just discussed that. Now we are going to delve into detail with various practical examples to give you a more clear insight into it, right? So let's go further. So discussing each and every trait of adaptable and flexible professional, the very first point be open to trend. And when we talk about open to trend, what exactly it means? This attitude shows that people are willing to take their chances and wait through. It means that they are not just sitting in the hands of the destiny, right? They are the driver of their own seat. They are driving their own ship. They are not just sitting at the mercy of the winds, that wherever the winds will go, they are going to sail their ship through those winds, right? So these people, adaptive and flexible people, they have this attitude. These people are willing to take their chances way through. But I will not sit at the hands of my destiny. Let me take a chance. If it's work, it's fine. If it doesn't, I'm going to get an experience for sure. So this is the mindset beside this, open to trend. Their mind is ready for adapting to change that is about to come and take on the challenges. So their mind is ready for adapting. What we mean by this particular sentence, they have this growth mindset in them. All right. They have this growth mindset. They know it very well that if my learning stops, my growth stops. Right? So learning is a continuous process. It is a life learning process. They know this thing very, very well. So their mind is always ready to adapt to new changes and to come and take the challenges, what may if come. Right? They respond well to the changes quickly. So they are not stubborn in their attitude. They are like, go get and risk taker. So what if, the things might work in your favor? So they are they are having a very, very positive outlook towards that. Okay, so they are very, very positive oriented. They just go and they are open to the trend. So let me share one more example with you. So like earlier, I shared with you the strategy that why Nokia was not able to survive in the marketing. You know, what strategy they could have taken. It should have been more adaptive and more flexible to adapt to the changing market conditions. We shared about Kotak, right? Why this camera was not, Kodak camera did not work well in the market. Now, the third example that I'm going to share with you to tell you open to trend, what it is. It is also a very, very basic one that each and every participant connected to this webcast would be able to relate. So, everybody knows that Maruti to Nexa. What was the logic behind it? Right. So this Maruti, when it was launched in the market, it was tagged that it was a very, very middle class brand. I hope you all agree with me. So the niche people were hesitant to go for Maruti as it was labeled as a middle class brand. So now what Maruti did to change this branding to cater to the niche and luxurious classes as well, it brought out the another segment, Nexa. What was that? Adapting and changing itself as per the market condition. Branding, bringing a new brand to adapt to the market condition. So they took their chance and they were successful in it. So bringing a new brand Nexa, they were able to cater to the luxurious class as well. They rebranded themselves. All right. So once you have this positive attitude, you have this go-getter attitude, you have this risk-taking attitude, it really adds on to wonderful opportunities ahead. Moving to the second trait of people who are adaptive and flexible, they are not rigid in their thoughts. Now, when we say that they are not rigid in their thoughts, what does it imply? People who are flexible can be approached easily as they would accept the changes ready to implement them. So a person who is having very, very flexible mindset, that person is going to, indulge in brainstorming sessions because that person knows that so many brains are better than one brain. I hope everybody is going to agree with me, isn't it? So if I'm sitting with 10 people, I'm sitting with my team. So I'm sure that 9 people, if they are giving me some suggestions, if they are giving me if they are sharing some strategies with me, obviously those 9 strategies could bring something that alone I could not think even. Right? So if I am rigid in my thoughts, no, whatever I have discussed, whatever I have decided by myself, that is only going to work. It is not going to serve me the purpose in future. So it's very, very important that we should be flexible in our thinking process. We should be always ready to incorporate new thoughts, welcoming new ideas, giving the chance to others also to approach us easily and indulge in an effective brainstorming sessions. So this is possible only and only when we have this flexible approach system. We are not just, we are not just glued to our old thoughts and working process. We embrace change. We are ready to go ahead and embrace change. So these people, they do not show rigidity in accepting the views. Having flexibility skills allows the organization for pushing through changes that are inevitable. So if you are flexible in your thought process, you can get a countless number of good ideas, good strategies, good participation from your team members that allows you to push through changes, the results of which are marvelous. Moving on to the third trait of people who are adaptable and flexible. They are very, very adjusting to the situation. Now, when we say they are very, very adjusting to the situation, what it actually means. So it doesn't mean that you are allowing anyone to dominate on you. It does not mean that way. It means these people can easily adjust to the situation they encounter. Means if the situation is not going in their favor, suppose, I have prepared a plan A that, all right, I'm going to proceed for this project, I'm going to proceed for this work in such and such manner. But I have streamlined the entire process. My plan A is absolutely ready. But due to some circumstances that were beyond my control, or due to some circumstances that were totally unexpected, my plan A couldn't be executed. So now there would be two kind of people. One category of people would be who would completely go berserk, right? They would completely go into chaos that I have prepared this plan A, and if it's not working in my favor, what should I do further? All right, so this was the first approach. Second category of the participants is that if their plan A does not work, they are very, very adaptable. They are calm and composed, and they have plan B in their hand. Because we all know that at all the times, situations will not be in our favor. The conditions will not be in our favor. So 1% chance can be there that whatever plan A we have made, it won't be executed. So for that 1% chance that that plan won't be executed, we have a backup plan, plan B. So that if that 1% probability comes true, we are not in utter chaos. We are not senseless that what to do, where to go, where to ahead. We have this proper plan B with us. So this is called as that we can adjust to the situation very, very calmly and a composed manner. So I would always recommend that to have a plan B in case your plan A does not work, your plan B comes to your rescue. So basically, that is you are capable enough of adjusting to the situations. So they know how to adjust and what to do. So in this, environment where everything is so chaotic, so these people who have this flexible nature, they are having this art of adjusting to situation. See what a beautiful word I'm using. An art of adjusting to the situation, skill to adjusting to the situation, because everyone does not possess this art, isn't it? So this is also an art, this is a skill. आपके अंदर वो कला है कि सिचुएशन आपके फेवर में नहीं भी होती तो भी आप किस तरीके से उसके साथ क्या करते हो, कैसा उसको रिस्पॉन्स देते हो, कैसे उसके साथ आप डील करते हो, सो दैट टू सम एक्सटेंट जो आपने प्लान किया था वो आप आउटपुट लेकर आ सको. So this is a skill that we need to inculcate in us. So they can be relied on when assigned with new project. So adjusting to situation is very, very important. So a professional who is very, very adaptive and flexible can be relied on when assigned with new projects. So he will not go into confusion when things does not happen as per his whims and fancies. So it's futile in showing resistance to change as it will only cause undue stress. So at times when we just, hold on to that, no, I'm going to stick to my plan A only, no matter what happens. Many a times, it is futile and a sheer waste of time, because if you are resisting the change, it only causes you undue stress and, delay in your output. Such employees are ready to take assignments other than what their role was meant to be. So they are not rigid in their approach that, my work is confined only to this particular task. They are ready to take new assignments. They are ready to take new opportunity, and they take that as a stepping ladder to learn new things. So being adaptable and being flexible brings you so many new opportunities, and when you get many opportunity, it results in continuous success. The next very, very important trait of an adaptive and flexible person is effective problem solving. So while I'm discussing all these traits, I'm sure you guys must be doing your introspection that in which trait you are lacking and where you have to improvise. All right. So when we talk about this effective problem solving trait, what does it signify? Again, I'm going to give you an example to give you a comprehensive learning of this particular point. So as these people would have faced many situations that force them to take the call for making changes with their system or attitude, they seem to be effective in finding solutions to problem. So basically, these people are solution oriented people. And when I say solution oriented people, what does that actually mean? So in my life, I have counted two types of people. I'm sure you must have also encountered. So the very first category is problem oriented. The second category is solution oriented. So we are talking about the second category. You should be solution oriented. So problem oriented people are the one who always sees the problem, in everything. They always use this negative word in their conversation. I don't think we would be able to do this. I don't think, we can handle this. I don't think that this work falls in our jurisdiction. I don't think we are capable enough of doing this. Right? So the majority of the words they use, it is in negative sense. It gives the vibration that we can't handle it, we can't be doing it. Second category of people who are solution oriented is that they see solution in every problem. They are like, okay, let me see. We have handled such things in the past as well. Let me see. Let me figure out. Give me some time. I'll revert you back. Don't worry. We'll do something. We will handle it out. We have handled the similar problems in past also, and we have emerged as a winner. So when I'm using these positive sentences, don't you think you're getting a positive vibration, a solution-oriented approach that yes, the things can be get done, isn't it? So these people are very, very solution oriented. See, we professionals are the part of service sector. So as this is a webcast for all the chartered accountants here, so either we are working in job, we are working in practice, or we are working in education sector. Primarily, what we are giving and selling our services, isn't it? And when we are selling our services, it's very, very important when we come into contact of our client, we should be having this solution oriented approach to give. Right. So solution oriented approach says that from today onwards, you will stop using the negative words in your vocabulary. Instead of saying, no, this can't be done, I can't handle this, I have not handled this in the past, please replace those words with positive words. Let me figure out what can I do for you. Don't worry, we'll find out something. Every problem has a solution for sure. So when you approach this solution oriented approach, right, it creates a positive mindset for you. It creates an adaptive mindset for you, and it brings not many opportunities for you. So, in fact, they know where to look for in case of any problems. So, a solution-oriented approach, creates an impression about you in the market that yes, this person is a solution-oriented person. No matter whatever the problem is, let me go to that person. He or she is going to give us something for sure. All right. So I think this effective problem solving, you have learned so many things, replacing your negative words with positive ones. Then, if you are an adaptive or flexible person, what trait you show? You are able to negotiate in a very better manner. So, you must have seen, many people around you. Negotiation is an art that, flows so smoothly from their personality. So they are able to negotiate. Now, negotiation is not only in terms of that, you are making deals. It could be you are negotiating with your employee, you are negotiating with your client, you are negotiating in any aspect of the business, right? So if you are adaptive and flexible, you definitely bring negotiation with ease. Their outlook on the aspect of negotiation is easily identified. So they clearly know that, on what terms we are negotiating. It's okay. If the deal is not going as per my whims and fancies, how much adaptive I can be, how much, I can adapt the things, I can, make the other party win, how much I can make myself win. So they are like, creating a win-win part for both the parties. So their outlook on the aspect of negotiation is easily identified. They keep their scope of negotiation quite large. They're not rigid into that either this or that. They are quite adaptive. That all right, you also win, I will also win. So they keep their space, they have a large space where there could be a chance of opening and getting the best deal. So they seem to know which portfolio to take into consideration to make that negotiation works out the best. So they know their strength, where they have to play. They know how they have to market their skills. They know what is the maximum area where they would be able to negotiate. Now, next, the very, very important trait when we talk about adaptive and flexible work under pressure. There could be times when a company may not be performing well and need to downsize their payroll. These people come to rescue as they can handle pressure or workload. Their skills might not fit, but as they show the willingness to take up those additional roles. So these are the people who can work very well under pressure as well. So it's not that, that if there is a deadline, if there is some, urgency, they are not able to handle it. So they know it very well that, these times are not going to last forever. So if the need of an hour is that some deadlines has to be met, some urgency has to be met. So they are okay and confident and work under pressure very well. Now, very, very important. Adaptive and flexible person has an ability to listen. So a rigid person always want to speak that, I want this, I want that, I want it in this manner, I want in that manner. But a person who is flexible, he always has this ability to listen. So basically, God has given us 2 ears and one mouth so that we listen more, we absorb more, and we speak less. But many a times, in many of the situations, we do exactly the opposite. So, how being more open to changes is a sign that shows the person has ability to listen to other views. So, if you are open to changes, you would be open to changes only if you would be welcoming the ideas given by your team, right? You are welcoming the ideas given to you by your juniors. So, until and unless you are a good listener, you cannot accept and embrace the changes easily. So an important part of communication is listening. So when we talk about flexibility, it's very, very important that you become an effective listener. Now, having a flexible attitude means the person will be willing to give their ear to other views. So just do your introspection that are we welcoming to other person's ideas, other person's suggestions, are we giving them that space, are we giving them that opportunity so that they can express their opinion, they can express their concern, they can express their point of view in a very, very effective manner in front of us. The more we are having the ability to listen, the more interactive we can make our meeting, more interactive we can make our agenda, and the outcome that is going to flow from that is really going to bring you the fruitful results. Then again, if you are adaptive and flexible, you have this beautiful ability to communicate. So this communication is a versatile skill that helps you to reach where you want to go. So as changing are the cause for making one to be flexible, they learn the art of communication. So if you pay attention on each and every word that you are looking at the slide, again, this is an art. See, communication is something that we have been doing since we were 2 years of age. Am I right or not? Right? What I'm saying is, you know the art of communication. You know the skill of communication. You know वो कला कि हम किस तरीके से बात करें कि हम जो बात करें उसका आउटपुट इफेक्टिव हो. So if we are adaptive and flexible, we know how to communicate these changes to our seniors, to our colleagues, to our juniors as well. Because if we are not able to communicate well, the other party won't be accepting that easily. They would be resisting to change. Are you able to understand this point? So how well we communicate that why we need to be, changing, why we need to adopt this particular thing, why we need to change the particular aspect, means when we are talking about change, it's very, very important that we are able to communicate this to the next party very, very nicely so that the next party also becomes adaptive to that. So either we are talking with our seniors, we are talking with our client, we are explaining something to juniors, we should be having this skill of how to communicate. One more very, very basic example I'm going to tell you. So when this, CA syllabus was revised, Board of Studies held various seminars, and they told that why it is very, very important to bring this change. Are you able to understand? So that people accept this, students accept this with readiness. So it was very, very effectively told to the students that to come at par with the market, to come at par with the technological advancement and changes, the syllabus needs to be revised. So we should have this ability to communicate that why we are being adaptive or why we are being flexible. Because if we give the reason to the other person effectively, the other person do comprehend. That other person could be anyone you are talking with in your professional capacity. They are adept in this art, so no one can beat them. So if you're having this wonderful skill of communication, so they have this art of influencing the behavior of the other person in their own manner, and nobody can beat them in it. So they are having this inbuilt skill in them. They communicate so well that they are able to transform the behavior of the other person. All right. So when we talk about when you are working in the capacity of a professional, so you are able to influence the other person. You are not controlling the other person. There is a difference between influencing and control. When you influence the other person, it is long term. When you are controlling the other person, it is short term. All right. So if you have this ability to communicate, to tell to your team that why you need to take this particular decision, why you need to be flexible in your this particular approach, when you give a clear reasoning to your member or your client, they understand it, and you are able to influence them by, a proper reasoning. So if they are given a proper reasoning, they adapt to it in a very, very productive manner. The exposure of such people is enormous due to their experience in various fields, which brings in more knowledge, converting to communication. Moving to the other aspect of it, if you are adaptive and flexible, this category of people is prone to difference of opinion and views. To cater to the change that is needed, they know that being able to understand others' views is a sign of acknowledgement. So acknowledgement is the good attitude. So they are very, very flexible in their approach. So if they get some opinion and suggestions from their client, from their seniors, from their juniors, they are having a welcoming attitude towards that. So they acknowledge that, yes, I do appreciate the point you have bring to our table. Yes, I do appreciate your suggestion. Yes, I do appreciate your thinking capacity. Yes, I do appreciate, the point that you have bring to us. It's going to be of immense importance in our professional life. So acknowledgement of others' view is a welcoming sign that shows that yes, you are not insecure in your own persona. You are very, very secure, and you take the others people's suggestion also into the consideration. All right. Next trait, that if you are a very, very adaptive and flexible person, it's always seen that people who adapt themselves or are flexible to the changes have more chances of achieving success. I hope everybody attached to this, in this webcast would agree with me on this particular point. So people who are flexible, they have more chances of achieving success. Why? Because we know we all like flowing river. We don't like, a river that is, we don't like a lake or a pond that has a stranded river in it, isn't it? So the people who are very, very flexible, that go with the flow, that they have more chances of achieving success because they have this hard or adjusting themselves to any circumstances that come in their path. Their willingness to learn the concepts and adopt new trends that go beyond their skills and experience brings in many changes within the business and henceforth the success of business. So they have this willingness to learn the concept and adopt new trends. As I told you earlier, that learning is a lifelong process. They know it very well that the moment their learning stops, their growth stops. So they know it very well that if they want to be market relevant, mark my words, again I'm speaking, if they want to be market relevant, it is very, very important that they should adopt new trends and they should go beyond their skills and experience so that they ensure the success of their business, success in their careers, and so on. So these employees are always considered to be valuable asset as they embrace change. Next, if you are adaptive and flexible, you have this keen ability to learn always. You bring in new concepts to be learned. You daily spend some time in improvising your knowledge, skill. It could be anything. Even if you have read, one paragraph of any book, any financial article, you have learned one technological function of any modern technology that is coming, right? You have taken that one step to be a better version of what you were yesterday. So this adaptive and flexible, we don't have to just keep ourselves connected with the meaning, right? We have to actually introspect that am I taking steps to be actually an adaptive and flexible person? So if you're actually taking that step, this ability to learn is of foremost importance. So having this attitude of showing flexibility at the workplace would instigate the employees to learn. As their mind is open to absorb the changes, learning is not difficult for them. So once you understand it, that why you are, embracing change, this particular question is clear to you. So let me not use the word change. Let me use a beautiful word. Let us use this word evolve. So when we say evolve, it is that you know very well that change is evolving from where you were and where you want to reach. So once this question is clear in your, mindset, that what are the reasons that I want to embrace the change? What is the background of that? And eventually what I want to achieve out of this, you are more open to absorb the changing. Then learning is not by force, then learning becomes by choice. All right. So your mind is ready to adapt to new changes. So for that, the very first skill that I would advise you is that please understand the why behind it. That where I am and why I want to evolve, where I want to reach. So these people who have this ability to learn new things, they have the initiative to find ways of learning the new concepts and becoming expert in it. So they take positive stress in it. All right. Now we are having two types of stress. One is if you're having very rigid attitude, you are like this, no, I don't want to embrace change. I don't want to learn this. I don't want to be adaptive. So you are taking this negative stress. On the other hand, if you are like, no, let me learn this thing. Let me learn this new technology. Let me learn this new skill. So it's going to help me to be market relevant also. Plus, it's going to open the door of more opportunities for me. So what you will get in that? What you will get? You will get a confidence, and you would be working for that by the way of positive stress. And positive stress never harms you. Positive stress keeps that spark and enthusiasm alive in you. That yes, I want to learn that. I want to go for that course. I want to go for that skill, right? I should be adapted to the changing market conditions. So in short, staying market relevant is the beautiful word I can share with you that always brings in more opportunities for you, right? So I hope that the key takeaway from whatever aspects we are discussing, the very first would be that from today onwards, just 1% also, if you are going to invest in yourself, you are going to get big returns in future. So ability to learn new things always open many doors of opportunities for you. Next, if you're adaptive and flexible, the beautiful trait that you bring along is that you become more productive. So, this attitude of being flexible allows a person to handle tasks with ease as they learn the techniques easily, thereby making them productive. So, they have this positive stress in them. It's okay if I don't know, I will be learning that. Right? What's the big deal? They have this learning attitude always. So they don't feel embarrassed, or they don't feel like, they are not having that fear of rejection, what the other person would be thinking. So their attitude is, all right, I was not knowing this thing earlier. It's okay. I will learn this thing now. What a big deal. I have to invest some time and efforts. I'm going to invest that for sure. Right? So eventually they become more productive. So having this attitude brings in more chances for exploring other opportunities. So this positive attitude in you always, keeps alive that charm, that enthusiasm, that spark of being inquisitive to new things. The person, when having exposure to technology, becomes productive. Next, if you are a person who is adaptive and flexible, you display confidence. And confidence is very, very important, right? Since, I'm a trainer, I read a lot. So recently, I was just scrolling some social media pages, and I found this one wonderful video where it was just a 3 minute or 4 minute video. If you will try to find, you will get it on YouTube. What was that video all about? In that video, a journalist was asking, a news reporter was asking Virat Kohli, the cricketer, that what will you prefer? Will you prefer a confident batsman, or you will prefer a skilled batsman? And you would be surprised to know that he said, I would be preferring a confident batsman. Why? Because a confident batsman knows that when the situation is not in his favor, still he can, make us win. He can make the match win. If you are only skilled batsman, you have no confidence, he will not know, how to work under pressure, how to work when the situation is not favoring the team. So clear cut, his word was that I would prefer confident batsmen instead of skilled batsmen. So now, by this particular example that I've shared with you, I'm sure you have understood the importance of this particular trait. So when you have this flexible nature, when you have, this confidence in your ability, that no matter what happened, no matter what the situation is, no matter what's going on, you can always take the things, you can always do something. It shows that yes, you are a confident person. So you are sure that you can handle risk that would be associated with it. So if you have taken a decision and you are likely whether it will go right or not, if you're a confident person, it would be that yes, I own my decision. If it goes well, then also I'm okay with it. If it doesn't, I'll try something new. So a confidence is something that being flexible enough, it gives you. All right. So with this, we have covered all the traits and aspects of an adaptive and flexible person. So now I would like I would like to ask you that you must have done your introspection enough, that in which aspect you are lacking a bit, and what are steps you are going to take from today onwards to just fill the gap from, between where you are and where you want to be, so that you fulfill all the parameters of being an adaptive person. Now, with this, we start the next agenda, change. So, when we are adaptive, when we are flexible, one thing is for sure, that change is going to happen. So, as I said, we'll not use the word change. Evolving is going to happen. Why? Because when there is a change, when there is an evolving, obviously something positive happens. Okay, so how to embrace the change, what things the change brings, We are going to have a detailed discussion on this. Now, obviously, when the change comes, when you have to encounter the change, we have two category of people. So the very first category you can see who wants change. So you're going to see so many hands, that yes, this should be changed, that should be changed, that is also not good, this is also not good, that is not working in my favor, this is not working in my favor. So when we talk about who wants the change, now change could be in any respect, it could be in terms of environment, it could be in terms of business, it could be in terms of amenities. So change can be used in any context. But what is the essence that I'm trying to tell you? That when we talk about who wants change, we have so many opinions, thousands of opinions coming that this should be changed, that should be changed, this is not good, that is not good. I hope everybody agrees with me. But when we are like who wants to change, you can see the number of hands. I'm giving you a minute so that you can understand the depthness of this particular picture. So when we are like who wants to change, actually the number is so less. So why? These are the people who are not in this second category. They are having resistance to change. So they are having the idea, they are having their opinion, they are having their suggestion, but when it comes to implement those things, they are not ready to accept the change. Right? They neither accept the change nor they take any measures to embrace the change. All right. So I'm sure that many of us is under this second category who actually wants to change, because we have uh, studied in our earlier slides that when we start embracing the change, then the magic starts to happen. So just being stranded at one point, just being rigid at one point is not going to serve us any fruitful purpose. So now those who are in second category, well and good. But those who are not and they want to come from first to second, what is required? What is the essence to be in this second category? We are going to discuss that. So, which group do you belong to? Please select one. People who initiate the change process, people who will implement the change process, or people who will experience the change process. So just see the depthness of these particular sentences. Do your introspection. Which group do you belong? So people who initiate the change process, they are the leaders. They take this initiative that yes, I want to change this particular thing. It could be in your, it could be in your practice, it could be in your business, it could be anywhere. And right now we are talking all of this in professional context. So people who initiate the change process, they really have, that leadership skills that yes, I want to change, I want to bring change into this. Next is people who will implement the change process. That yes, it's being decided, the initiative is being taken. Now comes the category who are ready to implement the change process. They are not resisting it. They are not giving excuses. Again, they are not having that problem-oriented approach. Remember, I told you problem-oriented approach. They are not just finding excuses that, they are telling to the first category of people, no, this won't work. No, you are not right in this. No, nobody will support you. So they are not that problem oriented. What they are solution oriented. So people who will implement the change process, they are solution oriented. That yes, we are going to implement the initiated change process and we are going to counter all the problems that are going to come along with it. The third category is people who will experience the change process. Again, people who will experience the change process, what is the meaning of this? Again, the change process has been initiated, it has been implemented. Now comes the audience. When I use this word audience, it could be your client, it could be your juniors, it could be any person. So ultimately, who is experiencing the change process, how they are dealing with that. So which group you belong to? I hope you must have decided which group you are belonging to. So, when it is the time for bringing the actual change, so if there is any change in terms of policies, there is some change in terms of procedures, there is some change in respect of technology, all these aspects we are going to discuss in future slides. So what is expected from you? The very first thing is that ensures that employees are ready to change, unfreeze. So first, the very first thing is you ensure that employees are ready for change. So you have talked with them. We discussed in the earlier slides. Your communication skill is going to be very, very important here to unfreeze them. You have talked to them. You have told them. You have guided them. You have influenced them in a positive manner that yes, they are ready for change. And when they are ready to change, you have executed the intended change, right? So whatever change that was intended, it could be you have to use another software, it could be you have changed some policies for your employees, it could be you have changed some procedures for leave. All these are the examples that I'm sharing with you. So whatever was your intent to change, you have executed that. And then when you have executed that, refreeze. What is the meaning of refreeze? Ensures that the change becomes permanent. So it's not for 1 day or 2 day. It is a sustainable one. So you have to ensure that it goes well in the long run as well. It should not be just a short-term motivation. It has to be a durable one. Fair enough? Now, overcoming resistance to change. Now we have discussed this. You will try to change the employees if the employees are ready for change. Now, then you are going to execute, and then you have to ensure that it is a sustainable one. But the basic problem that arises, when we are working in a professional capacity, is that this first part, that employees are not ready for change. Now, I use this word employees, it could be any person. It could be a client also. It could be an article also. It could be any person with whom you are dealing in professional capacity. So here is the major bottleneck that they are not ready for change. Means, upfront they are like, okay, fine, it's okay. But deep down, they are resisting that change. They are not happy with that change. And if you want a perfect execution of the change, it's very, very important that you influence them by their heart and mind. Then only the effectiveness of this execution and sustainability will be established. So, how to overcome resistance to change? How to overcome this? First, right? How to ensure that fundraising is done very nicely. So, overcoming resistance to change, we have this 6 aspects that what steps you can take to overcome the resistance to change. So the very first one is education and communication. We are going to discuss in detail with examples. Second is participation and involvement. Third is sorry, facilitation and support. Fourth one, manipulation and co-option, negotiation and bargaining, explicit and implicit coercion. So how you overcome the resistance to change, we are going to discuss these strategies with you. So first one is education and communication. Needless to say, the starting point for successful change is to communicate effectively the reason why change is needed. That what benefits they are going to get once this change is executed, because the other party always want to be educated about it. If you will not educate the other person and you will make that person work, you will not get the long-term results. So it's very important that you communicate effectively that what has triggered the need to change, right? That what was that trigger point and why it is important to address that trigger point. So honest communication about the issues and the proposed action helps people see the logic of change. Very, very important. Because once you would be able to tell them the logic why we are embracing that change, they would be wholeheartedly embracing that change. Clear? So when we talk about this, education and communication. So telling the other party the logic of embracing the change is very, very crucial. Effective education helps address misconceptions about the change, including misinformation or inaccuracies. So you must have heard, if there is a fake news spread in any business that, if this technology will come, so the human manpower would be replaced. So when such misinformation and misconceptions are there, people resist the change, and it's quite obvious also from their part. So giving them the right logical reason why they should embrace change is of paramount importance. Second is participation and involvement. Involvement in a change program can be an effective way of bringing on board people who would otherwise resist. So if you will allow the people to participate and to involve, right, you are going to take them on board. They would be more effective. Some change or some positive transformation or some change is definitely going to happen when you bring on board those people who would otherwise resist. So participation always leads to commitment and not just compliance. So when we give the other party this authority to participate and get involved, in the decisions, in giving the suggestions, so it always brings, level of commitment. It brings to the table that feeling of belongingness, right? So when that feeling of belongingness comes, when you ask the other person to participate and to get involved, they are committed and they are not just complying with the change procedure. So ensuring a participation and involvement of the party concerned who is going to experience the change is very, very crucial. Common issue in any change program is just how much involvement should be permitted. Again, the question arises that how much I have to let the other party involve, because I need to keep some decisions in my hands as well. I need not share everything with the other party. Fair enough. So in this case, a common issue, how we are going to address it depends that, to what extent we want to give authority to the other party for their involvement. What are the basic concepts, basic stuff that we want the other party to be aware of, and we want the contribution in that particular aspect. So delays and obstacles need to be avoided. Again, if a decision is not taken on time, if information is not shared on time, then it is absolutely futile. So it's very, very important that participation should be there, involvement should be there, but delays and obstacles should be avoided. Because if the decisions and the change is not brought out in the right time frame period, then it would be of no use. Now, moving further, facilitation and support. So how to unfreeze, you remember how to unfreeze means how to influence the other party to change by giving them facilitation and support. So most people, though not all, we need support to help them cope up with the change. So many of the people, they need support to cope up with change. If we will do our introspection, we will also find out that many a times we were not so much happy with the change that we were supposed to make, right? Those changes can be in context of anything, whether a new job role has been assigned to us, or we are going to any other new job location, right? Or I'm going to go in some other team where the people are having, absolutely different background, different mindset that I was working. So let's be very honest. I won't be so comfortable to accept that change. So many a times we are not comfortable and cope with the change that's happening. So at that time, we should understand the mindset of such people and we should facilitate our support to them. So key elements of facilitation and support might include additional trainings. So if we are transforming or influencing other person to cope up with the change, we can provide that person an additional training, counseling and mentoring, as well as simply listening to the concerns of people effective, right? So when GST came, obviously everybody was not comfortable with that change. I hope you can connect with me in this particular aspect. So, a non-standing committee was organized, right? Non-standing committee organized various seminars, various help desks were there to guide people about GST. Then government also takes steps to guide and counsel and mentor various professional what is GST and all, right? It took all the queries very, very effectively. Are you able to connect with this? So many a times change is not accepted very, very easily. So at that time, a proper support needs to be given to the other person. So if fear and anxiety is at the heart of resistance to change, then facilitation and support becomes particularly important. So just lending and helping hand and a bit of support can create wonders. Co-option and manipulation. Now, what is the meaning of this? Co-option involves bringing specific individual into roles that are part of change management. Perhaps managers are likely to be otherwise resistant to change. So, again, co-option means bringing specific individuals into roles that are the part of change management. So, when we are talking about change management, we can assign the roles to some prominent persons who would be quite influential in bringing into account the new policies and framework. So manipulation involves the selective use of information to encourage people to behave in a particular way. So basically, it is not encouraged, but many a times what we are doing is good for our juniors. What we are doing is good for our clients, but they are not ready to take that. They are not ready to accept that. Then again, using a skillful way of explaining them the things in an ethical manner, brings fruitful results. Then we have this negotiation and bargaining. So, when we are having the other party that is resisting to change, the idea here is to give people who resist an incentive to change or leave. Now, this is the resort when nothing is happening, we have to take the help of this negotiation and bargaining. So many a times who resist, we give them an incentive that either you accept this, you are going to get this. If you are not able to, then you may leave. The negotiation and bargaining might involve offering better financial rewards for those who accept the requirements of the change program. So financial rewards can be for any person. All right. So it can be for your client, for colleagues, and for your employee as well. So again and again, I repeat these three categories so that you understand the essence of what I am explaining you. Alternatively, enhanced rewards for leaving might also be offered. So this approach is commonly used when a business needs to restructure the organization, right? So when we are taking some important decision, we are going into merger, we are going into demerger, then these two skills, negotiation and bargaining, are of paramount importance. Explicit and implicit coercion. Now comes what is explicit and what is implicit coercion. So this approach is very much the last resort if the other methods of overcoming resistance to change fail. Explicit coercion involves people being told exactly what the implication of resisting change will be. So, people are told very, very in a clear manner that if you are not going to, follow this particular thing, if you're not going to change this particular outlook, if you're not going to adopt this particular thing, what would be the implication of resisting change? So, in our day-to-day life also, when we deal with our client and, we told them that, this particular provision is there. Now you need to be very, very careful about, how you are doing your HRA calculations. You need to be very, very careful. You can get the notices from the department as well. You need to be very, very diligent in putting this information. So what we are doing, हम उनको exactly repercussion बता रहे हैं कि अभी change your working method. All right. So I can't do this because, if I do this, this would be the repercussion. So we have to resort to this particular thing only. So if whatever outcome we want, that is not happening, that change is not coming, we can always tell the other person what would be implication of resisting the change. Implicit coercion involves suggesting the likely negative consequence for the business of failing to change without making explicit threats. Now, the big issue with using coercion is that it almost inevitably damages trust between people in a business and can lead to damage morale. So, again, this coercion has to be done skillfully. As I told, communication is a skill. So, you know how nicely you are telling them the negative consequences of not adhering to a change so that your relationship with the other party is also not affected, and whatever outcome you want to achieve, you are able to achieve that also. So coercion should be resorted to, but in a very mindful manner. Now, what we did, that what are the, if a person is not ready to unfreeze, if a person is not ready to change, what are the different steps we can take to unfreeze that person? Now, what we are studying is that what are the effective ways to overcome resistance to change. Now, actually on ground as a professional, what effective ways I should be taking so that I do not resist change in the future. So, what are the effective ways? So, suppose if I am a person, if I am a professional who have this resistance to change, suppose I am such a professional जिसको changes पसंद नहीं है, जो अपने comfort zone में बहुत happy है, अपने पुराने working तरीके से बहुत ज़्यादा खुश है, तो अब कौन कौन से ways हैं so that that person can overcome the resistance to change. So we are going to discuss in detail about those outcomes. Fair enough? So, such a beautiful picture we have here. Every individual needs to adapt to the changes around him or he will perish. I hope the message is loud and clear. That how, it changed, and how it embraced the changes at various levels that helped the caterpillar to turn into a beautiful butterfly. The slide says it all. I need not explain anything in context of this picture. So every individual, जो इस world में है, it has to embrace the change around him, or that person, that individual will not be able to survive. तो सबसे पहले importance हमको यहाँ पे समझ में आ गई है कि change embrace करना कितना ज़्यादा crucial है. Right? So I have made you understand the why behind it. So suppose if I'm a person who don't embrace change, so this why is clear to me, that why I will need to embrace change to survive in the long run. Now, the why is clear to us, that why I need to embrace change. Now, let's have a look at the causes that make change management a ubiquitous phenomenon. What's the meaning of ubiquitous? Existing everywhere, prevalent everywhere. So, this concept of change is not relevant only to few individuals. It is relevant everywhere. It is connected with all the individuals. So now, when we talk about that, what are the types of forces that initiate the change, right? So if I want to embrace the change, what kind of forces, will motivate me that yes, the right time hai, I should go and I should embrace this change if I want to stay market relevant. So those forces can be internal or external. So when we talk about internal forces, these have a far-reaching effects. अभी internal forces क्या हो सकते हैं? Internal forces हो सकते हैं that I have to increase my monetary income, so I need to change myself. I want to grow my practice, so I want to bring some necessary changes, right? Or I want to achieve that thing. Definitely, I have to bring some changes. Are you getting the point? So internal forces, they have a far-reaching effect. So internally, something is triggering me. I want to reach somewhere from where I am right now, and to bridge the gap between from where I am and where I want to reach, I have to accept and embrace the changes that is going to come during that process. That is internal force. When we talk about external force, what are those forces? The forces that are created outside the periphery of an organization. Means I was very, very happy in my skin. I was very, very happy with my working, with my practice, with my business, with my clients. But something has changed outside. Something has changed externally. And if I want to be at par with that, I have to bring changes in my working for sure. Else I won't be able to survive. So I hope the difference is clear. So internal is when I want to do something, I want to reach somewhere, I have this internal trigger. So I have to embrace the change during the process to reach from where I am and where I want to go. The second is external forces. I am very much happy in my environment, but the external factors have forced me to embrace change so that I remain market relevant. So these are the two forces that trigger the change so that we can embrace the change in a more fruitful manner. So let us go into depth of this topic. So as I told you, external forces include demographic characteristics. What do you mean by demographic characteristics? Demographic characteristics means that you have to change your city, you have to change a new place, or you have joined a new job, right? That requires a complete change person, a complete change personality that involves a complete change attitude, right? These are demographic characteristics. So external forces has made you embrace this change. You have to get along with the people who are having different mindset. You have to adapt yourself to altogether a new culture of your new company. You have to adapt and adjust yourself to the ambience of your new working place. All right. So these are some demographic characteristics, the external force that wants you to embrace and adjust to that situation. Demographic characteristics is clear to all. So when you are in new city, new job, new work environment, or you are having some new assignments. Now, technological advancement. So how external force include technological advancements? So changes in technology can create new opportunities for you. So, if there is some technological advancement, so suppose, if I'm preparing a PPT, and I am just using those traditional methods. I am whatever methods I used to use 5 years back for making a PPT, I'm using that only. But now I'm aware with education and training, due to technological advancements, I have so many other ways of creating the PPT with AI in such a less time, isn't it? So yeah, I know that if my colleagues can do that work within 15 minutes, why I'm taking 2 hours to do that work? All right. So technical advancement, the external forces is going to persuade me to adopt these technological skills myself also. So I need to embrace change. If I won't, I would be far behind. Then comes social change. How social change, instigate the changing attitude in you. So societal norms shape our values and behavior, and they influence the path we take. Again, there are some expectations in context of what we are doing, our behavioral pattern. So we have to adhere to those expectations, and these external forces accept, they want that we should be embracing the change that is required in consonance of social change. Then we have political affairs, right? Government policies can create new opportunities or new constraints for us always. So we need to be aware that because of this political affairs, what are the new opportunities that has been created for us? We need to adapt to that. Or what are certain constraints that has been put on us that can be detrimental for us? We need to take care of that as well. All right. Internal force includes, I told you, human resource problem, then managerial decision. So internal force, I told you that the trigger to change, has come from inside. I want a good client base. I want to do well monetarily. I want to expand my business. I want to grow my practice. And to accomplish all these tasks that I told you, obviously, I have to embrace the positive changes, right? I have to embrace embrace the change mindset. I have to embrace that positive attitude so as to reach where I want to go. Now, can these forces be ignored? So, what are forces we discussed right now? Internal forces and external forces. Can we say that these forces do not matter and we can just sideline them? Not at all. Basically, these two are the only forces that initiate the need for change management and the need for change mindset. So, these forces are very much inevitable. So now, need for change. So I told you the why is clear to us, that why we need for change, right? What is the purpose behind it? So if I feel I'm stagnant in my job, if I feel I'm stagnant somewhere in life, and I don't want to remain there for the rest of my life, obviously I need to take some efforts for that. So that why is very much clear in my mind, that why I need to embrace changes. And once that why is clear in our mind, that why we need to embrace the changes, then obviously there are so many doors of opportunity that open for us. So this curve goes upward. Once we understand the logic for change. And if the logic for change is not clear to us, right? So if there is a person who does not want, उसने अपना इंट्रोस्पेक्शन नहीं किया, उसको ठीक से बताया नहीं गया है, या फिर इंटरनली जो उसके इंटरनल फोर्सेस हैं, जो भी हमने बात की थी, उसको क्लियर कट आइडिया नहीं मिल रहा है कि मुझे क्यों चेंज करना है, क्या चेंज करना है, तो वो चेंज को एज अ बर्डन देखता है। अरे अभी तो ये भी सीखना पड़ेगा, अभी तो ये भी करना पड़ेगा, राइट, अभी तो ये भी काम करना पड़ेगा, अभी ये कैसे करेंगे, ये तो हमने कभी करा नहीं है। तो उसको चेंज एक्सेप्ट करने में बहुत ज्यादा एंगर होता है, देन फ्रस्ट्रेशन होता है, डिनायल मोड होता है कि नहीं नहीं हम तो नहीं करेंगे, हम तो जैसे काम कर रहे थे वैसे करेंगे। ऑल राइट, तो ये सारे नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट्स होते हैं। एंड वंस दैट पर्सन इज अवेयर that what is the why behind it, that why the change is very very important, what is the need for change, then ऐसे नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट्स अराइज नहीं होते। देन उसके अंदर एक पॉजिटिव स्ट्रेस होती है, yes I'm going to learn this, I'll be market relevant। उसके अंदर एक इंटरनल मोटिवेशन होता है that yes I have to embrace change, I have to keep myself updated, I have to upskill myself, I have to educate myself, I have to broaden my knowledge base so that I climb the ladder of success very very effectively. So, understanding this need for change bridges the gap for embracing the change so beautifully. All right. So, from here, A point to B point, this change mindset gives you a very, very fruitful result. So, now, what are the needs for change? So, we have understood that why the need for change should be clear to you. Now, for someone, the need for change can be, it provides opportunity for growth, right? So if you are, you are having this change mindset that you will learn new technology, you will work in expanding your knowledge, you will do new courses, you will, add more courses, qualifications, you will learn something to upskill yourself basically. So you know that if I learn this thing, I'm going to get this particular opportunity. If I'm going to upgrade myself, if I'm going to upskill myself into this respect, I'm going to get this opportunity. So you open the doors of many opportunity at your place. All right. So the need for change for someone, it could be, it provides ample opportunity for growth. Then for someone, it would be helps to promote flexibility. That yes, if I adopt this particular change, I embrace this particular change mindset, I will be more flexible in my working, right? I can do this also, I can do that also, but I can afford to be more flexible in my approaches. Then strategy. For some, the need for change is strategy. And when we talk about strategy, what it says that, sometimes there is a strategic change, includes changes to business policies and process. Then obviously a change mindset has to be inculcated in the employees. Sometimes it could be people-centric stage, includes new policies or bringing in new hires, right? Change mindset has to be executed. Sometimes it can be structural change, includes shifting in management hierarchy and job structure. So many a times, during merger, so a structural change happens. So obviously, employees has to be told about that how to embrace change in a productive manner. Technological change involves introducing new software or system to improve business process. Like we all are aware of, AI, chat GPT. So we are learning then how to automate our working in such a manner to improvise our business process. So obviously we need to have that embracing, changing mindset so as to adopt to technological change. Many a times it is unplanned change and necessary action following unexpected event. So many a times, things don't go as per our whims and fancies, and the necessary action has to be taken following an unexpected event. So we are not accustomed to that decision, but once we are taking that decision, we have to adopt that change mindset so that we get the best output from that decision. Then remedial change occurs when a problem is identified and a solution needs to be implemented. Then a remedial change action has to be taken. So I'm sure, see, there are so many aspects that require us a different perspective, that requires a different version. So being adaptive and flexible is so very important. We can't afford to be rigid, right? In any of this aspect. No, no, no. I'll not change my policies. I'll not change what I have decided. So these are just sheer examples to tell you that how, change is required in every aspect and we have to wholeheartedly embrace it. Now, resistance to change. Now the question arises, what are the causes that lead to resistance of change? Means, अभी मुझको पता है कि change क्यों जरूरी है, हम उसको ओवरकम कैसे कर सकते हैं, लेकिन क्वेश्चन arises that what are the causes that lead to resistance to change, why people are not resistant, why people are not readily accepting the change, what are the causes that lead to resistance to change. So we are trying to figure out कि कौन कौन से रीजन होते हैं जिसकी वजह से लोगों को अपने कंफर्ट जोन से बाहर आना अच्छा नहीं लगता, so that we can address each and every reason in an effective manner. The very one reason is fear of failure. I think हम सब इसके साथ resonate कर सकते हैं. तो जब भी कोई change embrace करने की बात आती है, या तो कोई नया assignment है, adopting any नई technology है, right? कई new job है, so हमेशा हमको एक fear रहता है कि हम कहीं इसमें fail ना हो जाए. आप अग्री करते हैं? So this particular aspect, fear of being failed, fear of being getting rejected, always make us resistance to change. So we resist कि नहीं नहीं हम जहाँ हैं हम ठीक है, हमको आगे कुछ नहीं करना. We have this fear of failure. So people won't support a change if they are not confident in their abilities to adapt it. So when people feel threatened by their shortcomings, they protect themselves from failure by resisting the change. तो इसके लिए अगर हम में से किसी के दिल में भी ये fear of failure है कि अगर हम ये एक्शन ले लेंगे और ये सिचुएशन हमारे फेवर में काम नहीं करी तो क्या होगा, राइट? हम हमारी एबिलिटीज में कॉन्फिडेंट नहीं है कोई डिसीजन लेने के लिए. सो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि पहले अपना ये फियर ऑफ फेलियर हमको हटाना होगा. बेसिकली फियर ऑफ फेलियर क्या होता है? इट इज दैट लिमिटिंग सेट ऑफ बिलीफ दैट यू आर हैविंग, राइट? लिमिटिंग सेट ऑफ बिलीफ क्या होता है? इट इज दैट बिलीफ जिसके साथ आपकी ओल्ड स्टोरीज अटैच्ड है. ओल्ड स्टोरीज कैसे अटैच्ड है कि नहीं, एक बार मैंने वो इनिशिएटिव लिया था and the decision was not in my favor. All right, तो आपके mindset में एक limiting belief system बन गया कि अगर मैं अपने इस area से बाहर, if I am going to go, I will not get exactly what I want. People may reject me. I may fear rejection. So उस लिमिटिंग बिलीफ को आज चेंज करना बहुत जरूरी है। उस लिमिटिंग बिलीफ को आप कैसे कर सकते हैं चेंज? जरूरी नहीं है पहले ऐसा हुआ था तो बार बार ऐसा होगा, isn't it? So नेगेटिव बिलीफ को पॉजिटिव बिलीफ में चेंज करना केवल आपके हाथ में है, किसी के हाथ में नहीं है। So you have to ensure the next very important key takeaway from today's session is that you need to ensure how to convert that negative belief system into positive belief system. That yes, this time I will be successful. This is a new opportunity that is coming. Let me wholeheartedly give my best and I should try something new. Let the fear of failure do not deter me in trying something new in my life, right? So I should be having, let me have that spark and enthusiasm, and I should leave this fear of failure behind. I develop that more positive mindset that yes, now the things are going to work in my favor. If they don't work in my favor, I'm going to get a wonderful experience for sure, right? Second, why people resist change? They are unable to see the big picture, isn't it? So they are like कि जहां पर हम है यही सारी चीजें हैं, उनको पता नहीं है कि बाहर इसके बाहर अगर वो अपना पैर रखते हैं तो कितनी बड़ी पिक्चर आपको मिलने वाली है। दे आर अनेबल टू सी द बिगर पिक्चर। सो व्हाट key takeaway I would like to tell you is that please, come out of your comfort zone by inculcating new habits. तो अपनी लाइफ में देखिए there is you can change yourself any moment. Life gives you so many opportunities, to change yourself. So by inculcating new habits, by inculcating a growth mindset, definitely you will be able to see a bigger picture in future. All right. So coming out of your comfort zone is very important. So you should learn how to come outside your comfort zone. Now, the next reason why the people resist to change, they are unable to accept it, right? They have lack of faith in themselves. They don't trust themselves. They are not confident of their abilities. So see, confidence is that wonderful crown that you should carry on your head always. So trust yourself. You have come this far. So that you are going to go ahead. So please, believe yourself that yes, at the other end, so many beautiful things lie for me. Next thing, why people resist to change? We have this unwillingness to learn or develop new ideas. This has to be changed at any cost. Sure, we should be learning new things. We should be, adding beauty to our resume by enrolling for new courses, by expanding our horizon, by expanding our knowledge level. Fear of personal impact. Again, this is the point that, resists the people from making the change. And then fear of uncertain outcome. So when we talk about uncertain outcome, it is, we are like, we are living in virtual stress. What is virtual stress? It's like, if I do this thing, what will happen? If I do that thing, what will happen? That has not happened yet, but we are torturing ourselves by, continuously overthinking about that. So the next key takeaway that I would like to take you with all of you is that, stop having that fear of uncertain outcome. Start living in the present. If you all the participants will do your introspection, you will find out, you will figure it out that many of us, by God's grace, we are not having any stress right now. Actual stress we are not having. If you are going to make a pie chart, I think everybody knows pie chart. So if you're going to make pie chart of actual stress and virtual stress, the maximum portion would be taken by virtual stress. Tell me, am I right or not? So virtual stress is most of the time we are focusing on those events that have not happened, and the probability is very less that they're going to happen in future. But we are overthinking about that. Fair enough? So fear of uncertain outcome, it resists us to embrace change. So the next key takeaway is that please stop giving virtual stress to yourself, thinking about the events that will not happen, or the probability of happening that event is very less. All right? Because all these fears stop us from taking that first step. So with enthusiasm, with that spark, with that liveliness, We should embrace positive changes in ourselves to make ourselves a better version, to enhance our personality, to broaden our knowledge, and to upgrade our horizon. Right? So, when we talk about tips for overcoming resistance to change, so, to all the participants who are sitting here, what tips I would be giving you, that whenever you face any change in your life and you are having an opportunity that either I should be going ahead and accept that change or I should be taking a back step. Always ask these four questions to yourself. Do we know where we are going? यार ग्राफ इज क्लियर टू यू कि मुझको कहाँ जाना है, ये चेंज मुझसे क्या डिमांड करती है. सेकंड क्वेश्चन यू नीड टू आस्क योरसेल्फ, डू वी नो व्हाई वी आर गोइंग देयर, व्हाट इज द नीड ऑफ गोइंग. ठीक है, हम किस रास्ते पे जा रहे हैं और वहां पे क्यों जा रहे हैं. डू वी नो वी कैन गेट देयर. पॉजिटिव सेल्फ बिलीव that yes, I'm confident enough कि if I'm going to embrace this change, I can get there. थोड़ी सी डिफिकल्टी होगी, but I'm going to get there for sure. So, confident and that positive self-belief is very, very crucial. Do we know that change would be better than the present situation? So just answer yourself that yes, if I'm going to go for that change, if I'm going to embrace that change, it would bring me the results that would be better than my current situation. So if these four questions are clear in your mind, please go ahead and embrace the change. Don't have that fear of taking that first step. Taking that first step can bring, miraculous change in your professional life. I have experienced these changes myself. So from that experiences, I'm telling you. So never ever take a back step. Always take that front step. So trust me on this. You will not have the dearth of professional opportunities. The work would be coming to you, in a very, very smooth manner. So these four questions are very, very essential to answer yourself to overcome any resistance to change. So if you answer yourself of all the four questions, your decision-making capability becomes quite clear and you embrace the change in a very, very positive and fruitful manner. Now, when we talk about this embracing change, very, very important, जब आप ये 4 questions का अपने आप को answer देते हैं, you emphasize on vision and mission, you give yourself proper timing, you indulge in proper communication, you always become a solution provider. As we discussed, that you have solution oriented approach. So आज का बहुत ही wonderful takeaway जो आप लेके जाएंगे, आज से आपको solution oriented approach रखनी है. You have to give the solution. Let me see, let me figure out, don't worry, I will handle, it's okay, situation is under control. All right, so this is solution oriented approach. आपका market में ये impression है that yes, we can rely on Mr. A, we can rely on Mr. B. That person is a solution oriented person. He focus on the solution and not on the problems. So with this, we are coming to the end of our session with this wonderful quote by Peter F. Drucker. He is an Australian management consultant and author of various books and articles. So everybody has accepted by now that change is unavoidable. You can't afford to be stranded for long. But that still implies that changes like death and taxes should be postponed as long as possible, and no change would be vastly preferable. But in the long period of upheaval such as one we are living in, change is the norm. All right. So with this, we come to the end of our session. So I hope I was able to add some value to your knowledge. And from today onwards, you are going to have that spark and enthusiasm to develop that change mindset and to embrace the changes beautifully in all the aspects of your life. So thank you so very much.
Thank you, madam. It is a very good deliberation, madam. It is a very wonderful and useful information provided by you. You stress the need of the change. If we adopt the change and flexibility, it is okay. Otherwise, the change will change us, our future also. We'll
Absolutely.
thrown back to our pavilions. So it is a
Right.
very good understandable and very useful information, madam. Yeah,
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, what you stress that the flexibility of open trend, not rigid thoughts, adjusting to the situations, productivity, effective problem solving, expanding, and more important is the able to listen. Able to listen will improve our communication skills and thinkability, and very effectively it will turn our future also. So it is a very good session, madam. It is a very wonderful. We'll once again thank you for your wonderful session, madam.
Thank you so
Now
much, sir.
yeah, madam. Now we proceed to the question and answer, our madam.
Right, sir.
Yeah. If anyone, if any questions are there, please uh, chat in the chat box. I think there is no question so far, madam.
Okay, sir.
Mm. Mm. So far, it is no more questions in the chat box, madam, and nobody raised their hands. So, to sum up this session, it is which stress that every chartered accountant should adopt the flexibility and adaptability and change to and learn more the technologies in artificial intelligence, chat GPT, whatever available to progress our profession in future and time saving efforts. Otherwise, we will be thrown back. The change by embracing the change, leveraging data, fostering collaboration, and planning for contingencies. And all CS can navigate their evolving landscape with the confidence and resilience. So, with this, we want to conclude this, madam. Now, this time to vote of thanks. So, it has been such an honor and part of this wonderful webcast on adaptability and flexibility in changing the landscape, organized by the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICI. On behalf of the Professional Skill Enrichment Committee, ICI, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our speaker, CA Preeti Mehrotra, for her enlightening session, and Dr. CA Anuj Goyal, sir, Chairman, Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICI, and CS Sripriya Kumar, Vice Chairperson, Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICI, for their active guidance. Sincere thanks to the event enablers from Warangal branch of SIRC of ICI who enabled the webcast throughout. A wide round of applause and thanks to the organizer, Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICI, our today's speaker, CA Preeti Mehrotra, and other stakeholders made the webcast a memorial one. Finally, we would like to thank all of you present here and helping us. This webcast is a grand success. Thank you, one and all. Thank you. With this, we will conclude this session. Thank you, madam. Once again,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.